Once a wildfire is extinguished, new dangers emerge from the ashes: hazardous waste, toxic fire debris, and trees. Scorched trees weakened by wildfire create a multitude of new, deadly threats. They can fall at any time and may have burned root structures that leave underground voids subject to collapse.
Post-fire, a large number of hazard trees do often need to be removed as necessary to protect the traveling public, to allow for safe locations to rebuild, and ensure that ultimately the continuity of government.
Identifying and removing hazard trees is an important step to ensuring the public's safety after a wildfire, and is included in the Consolidated Debris Removal Program. This program allows for local governments and private property owners to receive state assistance in the clearing of potentially harmful debris, including trees, following a disaster, at no out-of-pocket cost.
Landowners can submit a right of entry permit that enrolls them in both the debris removal program that cleans up remains of burned homes, burned vehicles, other property that they may have had that was destroyed in the fire, and it allows for the assessment and removal of those hazard trees.
The hazard tree removal included in the Consolidated program is focused on protecting the public at large. To be eligible for removal, hazard trees must threaten a public road or other public infrastructure.
We know folks that lost their home, that lost all of their treasures and memories, have enough to deal with. And so allowing us to remove both that hazardous structural debris from the homes that were lost, along with as many of these burned trees as we can capture under our program to provide that safe environment, is really important.
After the 2018 Camp Fire, which decimated parts of Butte County, including the small town of Paradise, CalOES saw a need to include hazard tree removal in the Consolidated Debris Removal Program.
We're seeing hazard trees burned by that fire actually falling onto roads, falling even onto rebuilt homes because they were left standing and they were in place and they were a danger to the community.
Following a wildfire, each tree is carefully analyzed by a certified arborist with special training in assessing post-fire risk. They look at a variety of factors to determine if the tree is expected to survive over the next 5 years.
We're looking at first cambium dieback, which means the extent of bark char typically we see on the tree, how deeply the tree has actually burned in on that trunk or bark layer. We're also looking at the level of crown scorch on these trees and the extent of how much burn actually has occurred, where it will cut down on the tree's ability to photosynthesize.
And without the ability to create energy and food reserves, trees will die.
We're looking for bare mineral soil that may be around the bases of the trees where it's telling us that it burned really hot. We'll actually see system galleries that have been burned out around the base of the trees. You'll see these little tunnels and stuff. It means the trees may still be standing, but they have no support system.
Also taken into account are any pre-existing damage to trees, things like bark beetle and drought stress, that will actually prevent the trees from being able to recover, even more so because of wildfire damage. The height of a tree and its distance from a public right-of-way is also taken into account.
Once we actually take these measurements and verify that the tree actually meets the distance requirements and height requirements, we'll come in and we'll put a blue dot on the side of the trees, usually 3 so that they're recognizable from all sides.
Arborists will wrap designated hazard trees with a ribbon that contains information for the data recorder who follows in the arborist's footsteps.
The tree species information, the tree height, the distance from the right-of-way on there, and they can easily go up to each tree, record the information, and they'll put actually a bar-coded tag at the base of each tree and paint a circle around that.
This makes the tree easily identifiable for licensed timber operators who are tasked with the felling and removing of these dangerous trees.
We take a lot of pride in taking down only the right trees, the trees that are truly a danger.
The species of a tree is a factor in deciding whether it must be removed, and whether it's a softwood or a hardwood like an oak, which is more resilient and has a better chance of surviving past that 5-year mark.
You know, over the next several years that this particular tree here, as arborists, that this is going to send out a lot of growth that is going to be indicative of the fact that the tree is actually recovering. And most of these dead branches in here, they're going to clean themselves naturally and fall off of the tree over time, and the tree will fill itself back out and still be fine.
To learn more about hazard tree assessments and removal following a wildfire, go to news.caloes.ca.gov and follow us on all our social media platforms.